Hello and welcome to A Word from the Woods. It is a beautiful late February morning here in the Maine Woods. It's been 3 weeks since my last trip to town. When I was in town, I bought a loaf of bread, but that's long gone. So now, if I want bread, it's up to me to make it. Today, I'm going to try a new recipe for Old-Fashioned Oatmeal Bread from the King Arthur Flour website. That's a favorite site of mine for recipes for baking. And I've got my ingredients laid out here. I need flour, oats, yeast, salt, oil, molasses, milk powder, and boiling water. So let's get started. I've added oats, oil, and molasses to the bowl, and now I'm supposed to put in boiling water. So I'm going to mix this and let it cool for 15 to 20 minutes. Meanwhile, I can mix up the other ingredients. All right, the oat, oil, molasses, and water mixture has cooled, and I have mixed up the flour, yeast, salt, and powdered milk together, and I'm going to add it. And I'm supposed to mix it and then knead it a bit. Okay, now I'm going to put the dough that I've kneaded by the fire, a nice warm place for it to rise. It's starting to rise. It's getting a nice yeasty smell, and I'm going to cover it up and leave it. The dough has risen considerably. And I can really smell the yeast. I'm greasing my hands because I'm going to take the dough out and reshape it and put it into the pan for the second rising. Greasing my hands, I hope they will not get too sticky with the dough. And I'm setting the bread by the fire to rise for another 45 to 60 minutes, the second rising. Then it'll be ready to bake. The recipe says to cover the pan with plastic wrap. I don't have that, so I'm using aluminum foil. Time for a little reality check here. I mentioned to you this is the very first time I've made this recipe. And the recipe did say the dough should be a bit sticky, but it seems stickier than a bit sticky to me. And I got to wondering, when I was pouring the boiling water into the cup, I was supposed to put in a total of 1 1/3 cups of boiling water. When I was putting in that supposed to be third cup and not fully paying attention, looking at the video camera, chatting, did I overshoot the 3rd cup mark and go up to the 1/2 cup mark? Well, if I made this mistake when I was cooking on my own, I wouldn't really know for sure. But I have video evidence. And I went and reviewed the video, and it looks to me like I put in too much water. 1.5 cups rather than 1 1/3 cups. That's not a huge difference. That is about 2 2/3 tablespoons extra water in the whole recipe. It's going to make some difference, I know. Will it spoil the bread? We'll wait and see. But the first time you make any recipe, it's a bit of trial and error. And this is a good reminder to me. Pay attention. The bread has risen for an hour. It's looking good. It's risen nicely. Smells nice and yeasty. While it was rising, I did look online to see what the effect of adding too much water would be. It was really only about 13% extra water that I added. And the answers I got were that the bread may be more dense, there may be bigger holes in the bread, but at the same time, there is a plus that it may last longer before going stale, which is a definite benefit when you're alone like me and it takes a while to eat a loaf of bread. Now, if I had realized before I let the bread rise that I had put in too much water, I kind of suspected it, but didn't stop to review the evidence. I could have added some flour to compensate for the extra water, but too late. Once it's risen, you don't want to do that. And so I'm just going to go with what I got, and we will see how it turns out. Okay, 35 minutes. All right, the 35 minutes is up, and I am supposed to check the temperature in the loaf to make sure it's at least 190 degrees. Looks good. Let's see what the thermometer says. Looks like it's in the upper 170s. Okay, so I'm going to put it back in. And I'm going to put some foil over the bread to make sure it doesn't burn on top. I'm going to give it another 5 minutes. I should mention, I wish there were an app to convey the smell of bread baking. It does smell good in here. And I don't know if you noticed, I've got my outdoor waterproof, windproof pants on. I took advantage of the time the bread was baking to go and pump and haul some water. Out here off the grid, there are always chores to do. Okay, it's just risen above 190, so I am going to call it good. Take the bread out. The recipe says to take the bread out of the pan and cool it on its side to keep the top from sagging. So, it came out nicely. And there we go. We will cool it, and then we'll give it a taste test. Well, the bread is just a little bit warm still. I think it's okay to try it now. I'm going to set it upright. It smells good. I like the centerpiece. And it looks good. And we're going to put some butter on it. And give it a try. It's nice and moist and warm and buttery. It's good. I'm going to sit down and have the rest with a cup of tea. Thank you for joining me today in my cabin, and I hope to see you again in my next video.